Shalom, all praise to Yahweh Shemel Shah, double lines to the Apostle GMS. This is Anna Allah coming at you in the video. In this video, I'm going to be focusing on the book of James, chapter 3, verse 8. Or James 3 and 11. I'm going to start from verse 8. James chapter 3, verse 8. But the tongue can no man tame. Let's stop right there. Why does it say, but the tongue can no man tame? No man can tame the tongue because the intents of the heart proceeded from the tongue, and no man can subdue that. No man can subdue that. No man can subdue the intent of the heart and prevent that which is in their mind to be spoken with their tongue. No man has that kind of self-control. We are all subject unto that. Okay? At some point, you're going to speak that which is in your mind. And sometimes things that you speak may not be things that should be spoken. So no man can truly subdue that. The only way that can be subdued to some extent is with what? The power of Yahweh Shemel Shah. Okay? But the tongue can no man tame. It is an unruly evil full of deadly poison, right? Because there are evil things that proceed from the heart that's spoken with the tongue. So the evil things that are spoken with the tongue, good things too, but evil things as well. And obviously the primary good things spoken that should be spoken with the tongue is the word of Yahweh Shemel Shah. Therewith bless we the Most High. So with the tongue we bless the Most High. We sing praises to the Most High. Speak His word, even the Father. And therewith curse we men. But also things spoken from the tongue can curse men. The men that in other words, mankind, man, who the Most High created, which are made as the descendants of the Most High. Out of the same mouth proceeded blessing and cursing. So out of the same mouth proceeded blessing and cursing. Now it's not saying that that's with every man. When it says out of the same mouth proceeded blessing and cursing, what is it truly implying is that of that member of the mouth, which is the tongue, proceeded blessing and cursing. In other words, good things are spoken, but there's bad things that are spoken too. Things that are righteous and things that are unrighteous. My brethren, these things ought not so to be. Now what does that mean? I have the same mouth proceeded blessing and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not so to be. Because the things that's spoken with the tongue are the intentions of the heart, meaning of the mind. When I say intentions of the heart, I'm talking about the mind. So the things that are in our minds, we speak with our tongues. And out of that same member of our mouth, our tongue, proceeded blessing and cursing. Brethren, these things ought not so to be. In other words, we are not to sing the praises of the Most High, while at the same time speak blasphemy and malice. In other words, you are not to be a hypocrite. A person that comes out and teaches the word of the Most High, but then turns around and speaketh and engages in the very things that are adverse to the word of the Most High, that's not so to be. That's talking about right there. Okay? That's talking about right there. So you can't be a part-time believer, a part-time teacher, a part-time Israelite. Okay? And we always say this. So out of the same mouth proceeded blessing and cursing, my brethren, these things ought not so to be. So you ought not to speak the praises of Yahweh Shemel Shah, but then speak blasphemy and malice, which are adverse to the word of Yahweh Shemel Shah, because that's hypocrisy. So you're not supposed to do that. Alright? That's not supposed to be done. And it's giving you an example. Alright? Verse 11. It says, doeth a fountain send forth at the same place sweet water and bitter? So the orifice of a fountain, like the hole of a fountain, does sweet water and bitter water come from it? Or salt water and fresh water? No, it's not going to come from the same orifice because it's not natural. Hold on one second. See the picture right here? It says seawater, fresh water. See that? See that there's a boundary? See that? Here, right here. This is salt water and fresh water. Right? Salt water is more dense than the fresh water. So the fresh water will float on top, and it's like a wedge at the bottom, bottom of the water. And you see that it's a boundary that's created. It's a separation. Just think about it like a fountain. So you already see a boundary, an example of a boundary. So imagine a fountain, imagine a spring. It's not going to bring forth sweet water and bitter water. It's not going to both come from the same orifice. That's not natural. Okay? Now that picture is just an example. There's an actual video to that. The fresh water is the salt water is the one on the left, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the salt water is the one on the left. But that's just an example. And the other side of the water was carrying something called silt. But that was just when you watch the video, it goes deeper into that. But when you got salt water and fresh water, the salt water is more dense than the fresh water. And that creates like a separation, it creates a boundary. So this is even in nature. Okay? Just as the point I was making earlier, it's not natural for a spring or a fountain of fresh water to also hold salt water, because it's a separation between the two. Alright? Let's keep going. Verse 11. Or verse 10 again. Out of the same mouth proceeded blessing and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not so to be. Doeth the fountain send forth at the same place sweet water and bitter? Water that's sweet and water that's bitter? No, it doesn't. Now this fountain is supposed to be indicative or representation of our hearts. We're not supposed to speak sweet things and bitter things. In other words, the blessings and cursings. We're not supposed to speak the praises of the Most High with that same member or same tongue. But then speak cursings, blasphemies, and malice, and things that are adverse and contradictory to the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Just as it's contradictory for a fountain or a spring to have sweet water and bitter water coming from it. So that fountain is something that's indicative or symbolic of our hearts. That's what that's talking about. There's some scriptures on that. Jeremiah 6:6. For thus saith Yahweh Bashim Yahushua of hosts, said, hew ye down trees and cast them out against Jerusalem. This is the city to be visited. She is wholly or completely whole, completely in oppression in the midst of her. As a fountain casteth out her waters, so she casteth out her wickedness. Violence and spoil is hurting her before me continually grief and sorrow. So you see, a fountain casting out waters is likened unto Israel casting out wickedness. Wickedness can only be casted out, or wickedness only can come out of you if it's what? Something that's coming out or proceeded from your heart. So when it says a fountain casting out sweet water and bitter water, it's indicative of that which we speak coming from our hearts. You can't speak sweet things, which is praises of the Most High, but then speak bitter things, which is words of blasphemy and malice, which is contradictory to the truth. That's being a hypocrite. You can't do that. In other words, you can't come out and teach, and then once camp is over, time to finish teaching, you go and you start doing things that's adverse to the scriptures. You can't do that. That's not righteous. Jeremiah 4:14. O Jerusalem, wash thine heart from thy wickedness. Heart, see? You got that word heart. It should be, that's the Hebrew word lab, meaning mind. I don't gotta press it. In a man, mind, will, heart, understanding. Okay? So, see if what that word wash say.
Strong's
Kabas. To wash. Doesn't really give you much there. In other words, to cleanse. O Jerusalem, wash thine heart from wickedness, that thou mayest be saved. So you got to wash your heart or cleanse your heart from wickedness so that you will be saved. How long shall vain thoughts lodge within thee? Right, so how long does these things that are adverse to the truth, that's wicked, that's causing you to sin, how long shall they lodge or dwell within? Like if you lodging in the cabin, you're dwelling in the cabin. So how long should these things lodge within you? Meaning lodge within your heart, lodge within your mind. Okay? Proverbs 18:21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. So death and life are in the power of the tongue. Blessings and cursings. And they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. So they that love those things that come out of the tongue, whether it's death or life, you're gonna eat the fruit of it, meaning you're gonna eat the you're gonna reap it, you're going to eat the fruit of it, meaning you are going to consume what it is that you put out there. When you reap, you're gathering. If a person takes a seed, takes an apple seed and sows it to the earth, they're gonna get an apple tree, right? So death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit of it. So if you sow an apple seed in the earth, then you're gonna reap apples. If you speak things of death, you're gonna reap death. If you speak things of life, you're gonna receive life. So you're supposed to speak life, so that you can what? Eat the fruit of life. Eat the benefits of speaking that which is righteous, as opposed to reaping the punishment, speaking things that which is wicked. In other words, you're supposed to live according to this word, and not the opposite. That's how the scriptures speak about what? The fruits of the Spirit. The fruits of the Spirit. Remember, the fruits of the Spirit. That which the Spirit reaps. Charity. Faith. Okay? But then the scriptures speak about the lust of the flesh. See that? Jeremiah 3:12. Can the fig tree, my brethren, bear olive berries? No, a fig tree can't give you olive berries. It's not natural. It's not in its nature. A fig tree can only give you figs. An olive tree, you'll only bear olives. Either a vine figs. No, a grapevine can't give you figs because it's not in its nature. So can no fountain both yield salt water and fresh. See, boom. No fountain can give you salt water and fresh. Like this picture right here. Last part, Mark chapter 15, verse 17. Do not ye understand that whatsoever entereth at the mouth goeth into the belly, and is cast into the draught which you eat? It you put in your mouth, and it goes into your stomach, and is cast into a draught. In other words, to a toilet. But those things which proceed out of the mouth come forth from the heart, and they defile a man. But there's things that proceed out your mouth that come forth from your heart, from the intents of your heart, your mind, and they defile that man, that which has defiled you. And this is Yahweh Shah is breaking this down, because this is going into the disciples who were eating with unwashed hands, and he was giving them an example. Don't worry about eating with unwashed hands. What you eat goes into your mouth, it goes into your belly, and it's cast into the draught. The main thing that defiles you is not eating with unwashed hands, but rather the things that proceed out of your mouth and come from your heart, that which defiles you. For out of the heart proceedeth evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witness, blasphemies. Okay? So we're not supposed to be like that. These are the things which defile a man, but to eat with unwashed hands defileth not a man. So the Apostle Paul is telling you this. He's telling you as a speaker, you're supposed to have control over your tongue. The tongue is an unruly poison, and you're supposed to have control over it, but you can only have control over it with the grace and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. So when you speak, you can't speak blessings and cursings. You can't speak that which is righteous, but at the same time speak that which is unrighteous. You can't go and be someone who believes in the word of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, especially someone that calls himself a teacher, and teach that which is righteous, but then turn around and speak and teach that which is blasphemous and of malice, maliciousness. That's a contradiction. That's not it doesn't match together. So with that, I'm gonna close. I'm gonna say, oh, praise the Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Devil Lion, the Apostle GMS. All you brother learn something. Shalom.